Welcome to this video from the Mendocino Superior Court Self-Help Center. We are a free court service for people who do not have a lawyer and need legal help with certain types of cases. In this video, we're going to go over how to fill out the proof of service of summons for a family law case, which is form number FL115. Let's first find the form. In your web browser or search engine, type in FL115. You can specify court form to get a more accurate result. And there it is. Click on the form name. And once the form appears on your screen, you can download it or you can print it out. You can also get a hard copy of the form from the court. The proof of service of summons is used after you file your initial summons and petition and any other documents you may have filed to open your family law case. The case you've opened could be a divorce, a legal separation, an annulment, a case to establish parentage of your children, or a case asking for child custody and child support orders. Once you file your summons and your petition, you're ready to have the other side served with a copy of your paperwork, as well as blank forms for them to respond if they choose to. Service has to be done by someone else, not you, who's at least 18 years old. It could be a friend or a family member, or you can hire someone to do it for you, called a process server. The sheriff's office may also be able to do it. They charge a fee, but if you have a fee waiver ordered by the court, they may waive that fee. The person in charge of serving, your server, must personally deliver the papers to the other side. The other side doesn't have to sign for the paperwork. If they refuse to grab the papers can be left at their feet. If they throw the papers out after they're served, that is still proper service. But until you have your papers served in the right legal way, the court cannot make court orders in your case. To show to the court that you've completed this step, you need this proof of service of summons. So let's go through the form. Some of the form you'll be able to fill out yourself, and the rest will be for your server to fill out. This initial section, called the caption, can be filled out by you. Here, where it says attorney or party without attorney at the very top, you would fill in your name and your address, as well as your phone number. Make sure the information matches what you wrote in your petition that you filed with the court. Below your information will go the information for the court. We pre-typed the two addresses for the courthouses in Mendocino County, but you should only put one of these addresses on your papers. If your case is being handled in Ukiah, you would put in the Ukiah court address. If your case is being handled in the 10 Mile branch, which is in Fort Bragg, you would put in the Fort Bragg address. Then comes the names of the parties. You're the petitioner, so your full name would go in this first line. The other side is called the respondent, and their full name will go in the second line. And finally, for the caption, you should already have a case number. So your case number will go in this space. It likely starts with the letters SCUK or the letters SCTM. Whatever it is, make sure you include all the letters and all the numbers as your case number. Once that's done, the rest of the form should be filled out by your server. As you can see under number 1, it says, at the time of service, I was at least 18 years of age and not a party to the case. I served the respondent with copies of. And then all the boxes that need to be checked for the paperwork that was served. So for example, if you filed for divorce, box A would be checked, indicating to the court that you had a petition and a summons served on the respondent, as well as a blank response. If you and the respondent have children, you also would have likely filled out and filed a completed declaration under the Uniform Child Custody Jurisdiction and Enforcement Act. And you would have to have served on the other side, not just your completed form, but also a blank one. In Mendocino County, when you file your papers, the clerks also give you a notice of case management conference to serve on the other side. So you would have to check box 8 and include in here notice of CMC, since that's required to be served as well. In section 2, your server would write in the address where the respondent was served and make sure that they include the city and state and zip code. In question 3, your server would check the box for A for personal service, saying that he or she personally delivered the papers to the respondent on, and then specify the date, the full date, month, and year, and the time, including AM or PM. I'm going to skip through over sections 3B and 3C. They apply to exceptions to the personal service requirement for a petition and a summons. There's conditions that have to be met for either one of these to be appropriate for the court. And if you have any questions because you cannot serve your papers in person, contact the Self-Help Center or an attorney for more information on these other options. Make sure you have your full case number here on the top of page 2. And then your server can move down to section 4, which is information about them. So your server would put his or her full name here, their address, and their phone number. If they're not a registered California process server, they would also check box B, indicating that. Finally, unless you had the Sheriff's Department serve the papers for you, your server has to check the box for number 5, where he or she declares under oath, under penalty of perjury, that the information they wrote on this form about when and where they served the respondent is true and correct. And finally, your server dates this form, prints their full name, and signs their name. Now that the form is complete, make one copy of both pages and file the original plus the copy with the clerk at the court. The clerk will keep the original and they'll stamp your copy here in this space and return it to you. Once this is done, you'll be done with the second step after starting your case. If you have questions about what your next step is, contact the Self-Help Center or talk to an attorney.